Welcome to Reddit Blue Pill, Red Pill, where we go over Reddit stories and predict the outcome of the stories. Please listen and play along by typing in your choices into the comments. There are 5 seconds to answer, or you can pause the video. Today we have a story about a woman who was asked to be a surrogate mother. All right, let's get on to the story.
So I, 34 female, am a surrogate for my brother-in-law Simon, 39 male, and his wife Michelle, 38 female. Simon and Michelle have struggled with infertility for years. They've tried IVF and even surrogacy before, but the person changed her mind at the last second. They have outwardly shown their jealousy of my husband, James, 34 male, and me for having children, especially as only one of them was planned, and our oldest was born when we were 16.
The OP is married and has become the surrogate for her brother-in-law and his wife. The OP seems to have had various pregnancies with ease, while her brother-in-law and wife have tried for years and tried various methods without success. As generous as the OP is to volunteer to be a surrogate, it is a huge favor to ask someone. What do you think? Would you agree to be the surrogate for a friend or family member? If so, type Q1 blue in the comments. If you would not agree to it, type Q1 red.
They came to me last year and begged me to be their surrogate. I had doubts, as did my husband, but I felt bad for them and decided to go through with it. James supported my decision and has acted like he did with my previous pregnancies, sweet and caring. Simon and Michelle, on the other hand, are very controlling. They made up meal plans for me, and I'm taking all these supplements as well as attending multiple classes. When I told them I knew what to do during pregnancy, they didn't listen and said to me that just because I was pregnant 4 times doesn't mean I'm an expert. I gave up trying to dissuade them as I knew nothing would work.
The OP's brother-in-law and wife, the other couple, are beginning to micromanage the OP's pregnancy. They are being very demanding, asking the OP to be on a special diet and go to special classes. The OP has had 4 previous pregnancies with ease, so she feels she knows more about what is needed for pregnancies, but the brother-in-law and wife aren't hearing any of it. But I can understand them, as knowing as they are. They may feel this is their final chance to become parents and don't want anything to go wrong. What do you think? Do you feel the brother-in-law and wife are being too pushy? If so, type Q2 red in the comments. If you feel they are pushy but are willing to give them a pass, type Q2 blue.
We started going over the birth plan earlier this week, and it caused a huge argument. They wanted me to do an unmedicated water birth, and I flat out refused. For my second pregnancy, I didn't have enough time for any pain relief, and the pain was horrific. I have quite a high pain tolerance, but this experience was awful, and I never wanted to do that again. Kudos to anyone who has unmedicated births. As for the water birth, I don't like the idea of being submerged in water with blood, other fluids, and possibly poop.
The other couple are asking very big things of the OP. They want her to have an unmedicated water birth, which the OP has refused. There are people who take value in having as much natural of a birth as possible, but in the end, it's the OP who will be delivering the baby, not the other couple. I guess they want the OP to give birth in the manner the other couple would have wanted to give birth themselves, and while it is okay to ask, demanding is another thing. What do you think? Is it okay for the other couple to politely ask for an unmedicated water birth, as long as they are not pushy? If so, type Q3 blue in the comments. If you think they don't have any right to even suggest anything regarding how the OP will give birth, then type Q3 red.
They weren't happy about this. They said this was their baby and they should decide how they were born. I retorted and said this is my body and I should decide how I want to push out a human that I'm so generously caring for them. A lot of shouting happened and I started to get overwhelmed very quickly. I started crying and Michelle rolled her eyes and told me to grow up. James told her to shut up, which started Simon off, and it was just a mess.
Wow, things deteriorated fast. As I said before, politely asking for an unmedicated water birth is one thing, but actually demanding it from the OP, that seems extremely pushy and inconsiderate of them. The OP seems to be doing this as a favor since the other couple are family via her husband. If the other couple were actually paying the OP, that's different. But the OP is being generous and all she is asking is to have control over her own body. But does the other couple have a point? The child is theirs, and if they feel so strongly about this subject that they would be so insistent on the OP to fulfill, then maybe hearing them out more may change the OP's mind. What do you think? If you feel the OP is being treated badly, type Q4 red in the comments. If you think the other couple have the right to demand how their own child will be brought to the world, then type Q4 blue.
James and I left the house and I was crying the whole way home and regretting ever agreeing to be their surrogate. It took James and me a few days to calm down, and during those days we didn't have any contact with Simon or Michelle. Simon and Michelle called James's parents and complained to them about what happened, so they called us and we explained our side of the story. They were shocked at what happened and said they were fully on our side and that they talked with Simon and Michelle.
Not only did the other couple upset the OP and her husband, but those little rats narc on them to her husband's parents to pressure them to fulfill their demands. Fortunately, the parents heard the whole story and are on the OP's side, but it's a shame it's gotten to this point. The parents said they would talk to the other couple on the OP's behalf, so maybe contacting the parents may end up being the thing that smooths over this mess. What do you think? If you think the parents will make the other couple see the error of their ways, type Q5 blue in the comments. If you think nothing will change and the other couple will continue to be pushy, type Q5 red.
Now I'm due in 2 weeks and I'm so nervous. A part of me doesn't want them there, but I know they have to be, seeing as it's their child. James disagrees. He said that he'll have them kicked out if they do anything to upset or stress me out. Even my oldest agrees with him, and he won't even be in the room. I kind of do feel like an a-hole, but I don't know. It's a hard time right now.
I hadn't realized the OP was so advanced in her pregnancy already. She can give birth any day now. In hindsight, all these details should have been discussed beforehand to avoid such a big mess. Plus, it would have allowed the OP a chance to back away before she became pregnant. Something tells me the other couple purposely waited until the OP was close to giving birth before springing the idea of an unmedicated water birth so as to pressure her more easily. I wouldn't put them past it to be so conniving. Her husband said he would kick out the other couple if they were to become disruptive during the birth, and I agree. But the OP feels bad that if that were to happen, then the other couple would miss out on watching the birth of the child they waited so long to have. This is the conclusion of the story, and we must make our ultimate decision. Is the OPD a-hole if she kicks out the other couple while she's giving birth? If so, type Q6 red in the comments. If you think the OP and her husband have the total right to decide who is and isn't allowed to watch the birth, type Q6 red. Now let's listen to a few comments.
Not the a-hole. We want you to have an unmedicated birth. We know the pain will be hideous for you, but that's a sacrifice we're willing to make. Yeah, no, they don't get to make those decisions.
With how they act, I'm truly not surprised that the other person doing the surrogacy for them backed out. OP, don't feel bad. They very likely didn't feel bad when they decided you should suffer during childbirth to make their wishes true. Do what you know and are comfortable doing. You are providing them a huge and generous gift, and they need to be willing to work with you. If they aren't, then don't feel bad about not working with them.
Yep, the previous surrogate backing out is a potential red flag.
Not the a-hole. Book a private room at the hospital at their expense. Put a tub of water in the private room. Have the liquids, blood, poop, and amniotic fluid all deposited in the tub. Have Simon and Michelle sit in that tub to enjoy the water birth they wanted. Everybody wins.
Not the a-hole. My sister-in-law was kind enough to be a surrogate for me, and I wouldn't have dreamed of telling her how to give birth. I'm sorry they're being so ungrateful and rude about the huge sacrifice you're making.
You're the one going through a medical event. At the end of the day, everything, it's your call.
1,000 times this. The birth of a child is not a spectator event. It is a medical procedure. Everything that happens from pregnancy through birth is up to you, and you alone. They asked you to be a surrogate precisely because of your previous successful pregnancies. They should trust you to conduct your pregnancy and birth as you see fit, and if they don't, they should not have asked you. Go low contact. Send them a text or something similar once a day to let them know you and baby are fine, or have someone else do it until after the birth. Then let them know they can come pick up their baby. The baby you are carrying is their child. You yourself do not belong to them, and your decisions are your own, not the a-hole.
Okay, that's it for today. Thank you for watching all the way to the end and participating. Please consider liking and subscribing to watch future videos. Goodbye.